I've got the rest of them. I've got like all
Dude, I
of the
sent you
other.
one. What the hell?
I've got all of the other ones here. I need to get that and the t-shirt. How's life?
Very, very good. How are you, mate?
I'm
Long time no
doing.
see.
It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while, but I feel like I've seen you everywhere. It's like you do scaling Europe. You're in. You're probably at Forbes at one point. You're going to do Bloomberg and CNBC. TBN needs to have you on. You're just doing
All
doing
after
the
you. All
rounds.
after you. I went to yours, and since then it's like everywhere. It's crazy.
How are you enjoying it? Is it quite fun?
Um, I'm very introvert actually. So with you, it's fun.
I appreciate it. Look, I think with all of us, it's fun, right? It puts more eyes on Europe. It puts more eyes on tech companies, and most importantly, it put more eyes on the port codes. How's the fund?
100%. Fun is surprisingly well. I will tell you afterwards, all in a bit, but like it's going surprisingly well. Uh, I'm myself a little bit surprised. I will tell you everything in a bit.
Let's do it. Look, I think we first cap off. We started with when we first had you on last time with EU Inc. 28th regime,
Yes,
etc. That sort of campaign has sort of come to an end. I want
you
to know
would
two
think so, right?
things. That's what I thought. There's two things I want to know. One, how many hats did we sell and how many t-shirts?
Okay,
And two, what's
okay.
next?
Okay. So first of all, we in total there were like I think we have like 700 hats or something like this, which is kind of bonkers because that's I think as much or more as like additional people who actually filled out the consultation, which the whole thing was about. You know, like please fill out the consultation. And to be fair, the consultation is like 45 minutes or so to do it properly. Which is borderline like abuse. You know, like that's just not okay. So I fully like genuinely like I struggle filling it out and I'm very highly incentivized to do it. And I was like, maybe I can just fake it, you know, like, oh no, of course I did, you know. But so I get it, you know, but like we have 700 caps, which makes me also think we should have just done a fashion label.
Yeah, I think
Like,
Ewing fashion label could have worked out. You
right,
know, we would just roll in
right,
the designers. We get like
yeah, yeah.
Massimo Dutti involved and that whole Zara ecosystem. We
Have
get the
stars and everything. Yeah, it's like it's a whole vibe. Yeah, yeah,
Versace
agree.
would have been all over this, or is it Balmain? Who does the stars well? I think it's Balmain.
Yes, look at me. I definitely know these names. No, but like to get you up to speed. So basically, we did like a big campaign. So for those who don't know, we did like a big campaign around EU Inc., which is basically the idea of creating a Delaware Inc. in Europe. The whole idea of the campaign was to say, look, there is this one big consultation, which is like essentially a survey. Let's get like the community to actually feedback it, so that the commission, when they do the proposal, has like data material and like people just telling them, please take this serious. You know. We managed to make this the largest consultation in that specific niche of consultations. There's topics that are bigger by default, which are usually related to like civil rights and like, you know, like chat control, economic impact. That those are usually bigger,
Can I
you know.
ask, do you think
Yeah.
they're equally as important? Or is
So
this or does this change? Oh, go on.
my personal opinion is almost everything comes down to economy. If people get better jobs, better salary, have higher income, have more spending, they feel positive about the future. And the moment they feel positive about the future, they're open with everything else. And the moment they feel negative about the future, it's like the pie is getting smaller. I need to protect my slice, you know. And that's where you have like all the negativity towards almost every initiative, from like immigration to nature to like everything, you know. So my personal POV is almost everything starts with economy. So like to me, it's very important, you know. I but that's a subjective opinion. But anyway, I digress. So we had this big consultation. We managed to get everybody on board. People filled this out. This became like a huge deal. And quite frankly, the overall opinion is that pretty much like one-to-one aligns with our proposal, which is great, you know. So for us, big success. Plot twist. There was a leak of the current working.
I was reading this morning.
Yeah, like
They're going to put it in as a directive
document.
versus action. Like, how can you explain to me the nuance?
Dude, like 2 years ago, I didn't even know the names of the politicians. Okay, and now I'm like here in a podcast explaining people's the difference between a regulation and directive. Like, what is my life? But anyway, so there was like this big press release and like a leak of the work in progress thing, and leaks are very common in politics. Apparently, it's like almost like release candidates. You know, it's like very weird. Like I think they do them to actually also get feedback. I think I don't know.
Well,
But this
we'd
looks
hope
like
the feedback loop is sped up.
Yeah, definitely. And in this case, they are still speaking about this actually being a directive. And the difference is a directive is kind of like an, how to explain this, like a suggestion by the commission, like by Europe to countries, like, hey, you should implement it this way, you know? And then the country implements it, what they think in their context nationally makes sense.
Right.
Okay. A regulation is basically say, look, we asked all of you agreed, and now we're doing it exactly this way. And that's essentially like at the moment you get this regulation, you have to implement it this way, because beforehand there was a vote where everybody had to agree. And that's the main difference, you know?
Okay. And so like if they move forward with the directive, actually makes no difference. This is all at a loss.
The problem is the whole idea behind the 20th regime, and especially how we at EO Inc. framed it, like our solution, is you want to have a standard for startups in Europe so that you can make any angel who have ever invested in any company in Europe, like doesn't matter where, can invest in any other, you know? And through that, you create actual liquidity. To do that, you need a standard, like you need an equivalent of a Delaware Inc., you know? If every country has their own standard, you're back to square one because we already have that, you know what I mean? And it doesn't work. So our strong push here is this needs to be regulation. To me, this is actually not even like the big weird thing here. Like this is not the main fighting ground. This is to me, this is like, you know, square one. This is like 101. This is like as basic as it gets. You want a standard, then introduce it as a standard, you know, like now we're talking actual features. You know what I mean? Like this is like we're still having this discussion. Holy shit. Like this is to me the actual reaction. You know what I mean? That being said, there was like a lot of pushback again. We managed to work together with the two biggest associations for startups in Europe to make like involve every association, have like an official pushback. There's a ton of press. So I don't think this will stick. And also I even don't think this is meant to be final. I think this was more meant as like a placeholder. And the president has officially said that she wants to do this on regulation. And ultimately, this comes down to her opinion. Or like at least in this case, she said it will come down to her opinion. So I'm very much optimistic that this will work out. My bigger concern here is like, why the hell are we wasting time with this, like, you know, core basics that should have been done like months ago? Like now it should be actually about all the details that you can do. Because now like the moment you say that there's a standard, you can use this standard to elevate the actual like quality of life in Europe. You know what I mean? Like now you can talk like new registry for all of European companies, like fully digital, API first, like whole access to neobanks, like having the same KYC that you open up in a company and instantly can open up bank accounts, instantly can do like all of the diligence you have to do with investors and all this kind of procedures in Europe, and like in the world actually, but especially in Europe, that makes everything pain in the ass. You can't just like get rid of that if you introduce the standard properly, you know? So I hope we get to that point of the discussion. And I hope that we get to this point of the discussion very soon, because they want to like introduce this law Q1 next year, which means in their language, March, you know, but still this is like very soon. This means like in November, December, this has to be more or less finalized. So let's see. We are very optimistic. We're having discussions with everybody there, but in the end,
I've always loved the fact that, you know, EU Inc. is one of the few things that is like a true collective movement, right? Yeah. If you go on the website and you look at the amount of people that have signed it, that they would actually engage with this, it's so long, right?
Yes.
I think that's just a testament to like how much Europe needs this. But also, like, if we can touch on it, in the last month and a half, the amount of companies that have been acquired or sold to foreign partners, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like a general trend, especially like in core infrastructure. So like my personal POV on this is the future of Europe is very much hardware centric, like robotics, automation, all this kind of stuff, because this is where we're best.
To that.
Yes. Like we're precision manufacturers in Europe. We're really, really good in this. And this is like, and also like all of our hubs, like computer vision, robotics, automation, AI, like all of that is kind of like converging on that, you know? I'm not saying it's the only thing, but I think it's one of the things where we have a legit claim to be like world leading, you know? But China has been catching up a lot in the last 25 years and is now leading in multiple industries, especially in all the new economy.
Can I talk to that point a little bit, right? One of the few things that I've begun to understand as I've understood China's history or recent modern history is the fact that we as the West have capitalized that. Like it's our own fault. for
Yeah, of course, we
outsourcing
paid for it.
everything. We absolutely paid for it, and we didn't keep an eye on it. And there's nothing wrong with that because we wanted an easy way out, but we should have collectively understood that by doing this, there was long-term effects or effects downstream.
Yes. There is, I'm trying to discuss this without getting too political, but like my point of view on this is like there's a fundamental flaw to think of technology as a cost center. So a very common thing was like, okay, our core competence is the design of these machines, not the building of these machines. Yeah, that makes sense. But like the moment these machines become very complicated, you cannot really have design competence without having actually building competence, you know? And technology isn't just like this one factory. It's the whole ecosystem around it. It's the knowledge within the people who work there, you know? So the moment you like get rid of this one factory, you couldn't just replace it by like building a new factory. You don't have this like decades of experience with the people. You don't have the ecosystem around it. So by actually outsourcing a lot of these things, and it's not just like, okay, we saved a little bit of costs here and there, we got rid of the actual know-how. And sooner or later, all the design is like based on the know-how out of the actual production. So I think this is like this classic Wall Street thinking out of the 80s where you're like, hey, this is a cost center, remove it. This is a cost center, remove it. This is very much, I don't know, regressive thinking. Like this is D-cells thinking. This is basically saying, look, this is as good as it gets. Let's optimize profit, you know? And that's the wrong thinking. The better thinking is like, what is the next evolution of technology? What's the next evolution of this industry? And so on and so on and so on.
Do we have the talent? Do we have the talent? Do we have the institutions? Do we have the infrastructure to think like that?
In my opinion, we still have it. We are very good at selling core companies, like KUKA got sold, and like multiple others, you know, like
KUKA to China, ABB Robotics to Japan, Hella to like, South Korea. Others are following the same path.
Like ABB, like what the hell? Like why? You know, and you can always argue, yes, it makes sense, blah, 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 because currently they're really bad in catching up with this and that and here and there. The reality is ABB should have done an IPO. You know, and the problem is they cannot really properly do an IPO in Europe, and SoftBank made an offer that was better than the IPO. You know, so the core problem you have here is then actually there is no IPO possibility. You know, but again, there's also like a mindset issue. Like this isn't like we are selling off parts where we're not as good in, like, you know, improving profit. We are getting rid of core competence. And in my opinion, we still have we still have enough of the core competence to make a legit claim, but we need to take this serious.
How long is that runway of core competence, do you think? Is it a decade? Is it 20 years? If these companies kept being sold?
No, like it's not only like that they're getting sold, it's also like it's unless you actually have the next generation of technology, you cannot produce the next generation of products and so on and so on. You know, like then you don't have the scale, if you don't have the scale, you don't have the price. If you don't have the price, you don't have the customer. So this is pretty much like a reinforcing loop. Like this is something where the governments need to take it's very, very serious, you know, from my point of view, and start reinvesting. But also it's like an area where we need to do like a lot of VC investing. Like this is in my opinion, one of the most important areas, you know, and it's also like one of where we have an actual claim to be possible to win. This is also like why my fund focuses that much on this, for example. So
let's talk about the fund, right? Like
yes, marketing. I love it.
It's why the show was built for this, right? It's just built for the Andreas show. I love these segments. Talk to me. I got the talking points from Marvin, and I was like, dude, you guys are on a tear.
Yeah. So it's a microfund, so it's very small. It was meant to be 15. Now it's becoming 21. So it's like a very small fund. You know, it's like basically think of it as like a super angel fund, like me as an angel, but like with too much money, you know? And the goal is to invest in 4 aspects in frontier tech. So that means automation, that means hardware, that means robotic, that can mean energy, that can mean also developer tooling, anything where like hard engineering is required, you know, is something where we want to invest in, and we want to invest in as early as possible. And we are very comfortable investing in crazy ideas. We have invested in like rocket companies. We have invested in like, you name it, like tractors, factories, like all kinds of crap, you know. That the thing is, what we strongly believe in is this is the kind of infrastructure we need here. And like, it's not like that we are unique in this thinking. Like this is the default thinking in America right now. Like every fund in America is right now like American dynamism, is like, you know, robotics, hardware, factories. And all this
why isn't that phrase thrown around more in Europe, the European dynamism?
I think it's coming. It's just like a little bit slowish, you know? Like
just lagging behind as usual.
A bit, yeah. But I also think this is like coming. Like it's just that historically, most of the startup successes were in software, in pure software,
Agreed.
like SaaS and this all this kind of stuff. Now that
Well,
you have the
sorry,
ability
is it
to,
like let's rephrase that. The successes we remember,
yeah,
not
fair.
the successes we are currently using, right?
Fair, yeah. There's very good funds in Europe they're doing hardware investing on large scale. Like Plur is a very good one, for example. In my opinion, they're going to be one of the best funds in Europe. They're like, from my take, it's like the future founders fund of Europe, basically. Very opinionated, GDP driven, very opinionated incorporation at early funds. Like inception rounds. Very opinionated large scale follow-ons with like 100 million rounds and this kind of stuff. I think they will be one of the strongest ones, and they're focusing very much on hardware nowadays. They did like from hardware in the abstract, like can also be like fusion energy and this kind of stuff, like anything that's very physical. There's multiple others. There's also like American funds doing very good jobs here, like General Catalyst is doing a very good job in Europe, and countless others. But there's also like a very strong emerging, like early stage, smaller fund category popping up right now that's doing very good investments here. Like,
and that's what you're operating in, right?
Yeah, that's the same. Like Interface Capital is also in this field. Unruly is very good. SDAC. There's like multiple that doing like a really, really good job in this like crazy new space, where in my opinion, we have the best founders. Because if you look, for example, let's take the Munich Zurich hub, that's like one of the leading areas for robotics research, for computer vision research. That's one of the leading hubs for like AI research in many aspects. It's also one of the areas for like mechanical engineering, and like this is like a hub for this kind of stuff. In Zurich, you have pretty much like, I think the population of Zurich is like 400,000 people, and I think, yeah, and like half of them are robotics founders. It seems like, like it's crazy.
But that's what we want, right? That's what you want. You want an ecosystem that's sort of like thriving on innovation and natural selection, and so you can consistently just keep capitalizing and seeing the bets that you're making.
100%, 100%. And also, like, the good thing is if you build a company that does like the main piece in automation for an industry, your customers don't really care where you're based as long as this is the number one product. You know what I mean? And so this is, from my point of view, one of the strongest VC bets we can currently do in Europe. And like, I hope that more funds will go into this, and I think they will. I think like robotics is the next big wave from my point of view. Like we had now like a very big wave around, let's call it generative AI in the abstract, like from foundational to application layer. And I think the next big wave will be in physical AI. And that goes from computer vision to actual robotics.
The robotics market is ginormous, right? Like when we think about it, it's bigger than the car market. It feels like it's bigger than the phone market. It's absolutely huge because of the use cases of the robots. Now, not just humanoids.
Yeah, totally. The way I think of this is like, don't call it robotics, call it automation. And
I like that.
For example, I invested in a company doing the building like a tractor.
What's the name?
It's called Voltrek, like voltage and tractor.
Have you done a video on it yet?
Not yet. No, I want to.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Basically, they're building a Cybertruck kind of looking machine.
This is based out of Europe or based out of China?
Yeah.
Based out of Europe.
No, it's
very cool.
Fully here, dude. Can I do a screen share here?
Yeah. Let me get it dude, up for you.
Like,
do it. Go for it.
So send request, and we have like the sorry for technical issues banner popping up. Yeah, perfect, works. Okay, I will quickly, like, I need to show them. I'm a big fan. So this is a tractor, and the wheels, they look small. Do you see the screen?
Yep, screen's up.
Perfect. So the wheels look small, but this is like chest high, like this is a massive beast, This is a tractor, fully autonomous, fully electric. That thing can lift 4 tons.
That's huge. Looks like a tank.
It is basically, it's a tank without the armament. It can do rugged terrain. Like you can use this for defense if you want, but like the main use case is obviously agriculture,
Wow.
This is built in Spain.
No way.
Yes. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, and this is, for me, this is a robot because that thing can drive, if needed, fully autonomous, Obviously in practice, you tell it where to go and what to do, but like once you tell it, it can do the thing. And but like, that to me is robot.
But we're not far off like the solved problem of self-drive, right? Or like understanding self-drive in the way that it's either the computer vision that Elon's got or making the bet on, or whether it's the Waymo bet. It's one of the two, and like both are going to converge at some point.
Yes, and also like first of all, it can self-drive, and there's like a level, I forgot which L they have, but like it's good enough. And the other thing is like you use this on a farm. Like that thing is meant not to drive like on the street to the farm. Like technically it can do that, but it's meant to like do this here.
Wow.
You know, drive straight, turn around, drive straight, turn around, drive
pre-programmed,
straight.
you can just go do the thing.
And so like, yes, they can do self-driving, but we're not talking, you know, self-driving like Formula One speed in a pedestrian zone. You know, we're talking like drive a tractor slowly over a field in a straight line. You know, so that is done. Like that's a solved problem. You know what I mean? And also like keep in mind that thing can lift 4 tons. You know, that's like significant.
That's incredible.
But also like in self-driving, there's so much happening. Like there's companies specializing on like automation and self-driving of existing heavy machinery as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now.
I love it. Are you invested in these guys? You are invested.
Yeah, of course. This is like if anybody in the audience builds something like that in any field, you know, like it's a thing that beeps, you know, and it's like maybe if you do something wrong, it might explode, but hopefully not, you know, like that kind of stuff I want to invest in. And the crazier and the like more ambitious, the better.
Dude, I've got to get a live stream going from out there. This is in Spain. Whereabouts?
They're in Spain, Valencia.
Valencia. Oh my god, yeah. We need to like, dude. We're gonna have a conversation afterwards.
Yeah, we go together. We do the video together.
That sounds great, man. And with the fund itself, right? Marvin was telling me that you're not. It's not a few investments. You're actually larger than typically for the fund size. So it's about 30 right now. Why?
It's so. My point of view is. So the way I structure the fund is like the same I structured fund 1 and 2 and like the others I did. The basic idea is I act like a super angel. So I do a check size as if I would be an angel with too much money, you know. My goal is if it's like an angel round, I want to lead the angel round, you know. But if the founder is more experienced, that has like more network, and it makes more sense for me to additionally get like a larger lead who does like a larger check additionally, you know. So my goal is not to be necessarily the main, always the main lead. So for example, if there's a $5 million round, I won't be the lead here. I will help them building up a $5 million round.
Because you got the connections in the network to go.
Yeah, I got the connections. But my goal, but if there's like an, let's say 1 million round, I will definitely lead that thing. You know, I will do 400K and then the rest comes in from others, you know. I will do multiple times. I might do like 1 million or so. But the main idea is by default, I want to do a very strong angel check. And that's usually 200 to 500K, you know, do that in the absolute breakout companies in Europe. And that's the goal. And the main thing that people misunderstand in VC isn't like there is one specific game and you have to play that game as good as possible. The job of VC, the same way as like the job of startups, is to invent your own game. So to large extent, it's like if you're the best in your own game, that's more likely like multiple times better than being a C-tier person in somebody else's game. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let me ask this question, right? I understand the context of the power law. I think what I want to do is take a step back and try and understand, like, you've played multiple games over the course of your career, working in startups, and now have made your own in VC. How has the game changed? How has your game changed?
So for context, for anybody who doesn't know, I was founder of multiple companies in Europe, which I don't think anybody remembers nowadays. I'm part of the people whose money I completely burned. Disclaimer. And then afterwards, I was founding team and CTO at Product Hunt. We moved to San Francisco, made that thing into Product Hunt, quite frankly, and sold it to AngelList. And AngelList, that was VPE of multiple teams. AngelList didn't really have a CTO because it was like a multi-org structure. And in that, I was like in the crypto team, which was like back then doing all the big ICOs like Filecoin and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like leading the talent team, which was the largest job board for startups at that point, you know. And then afterwards, I was CTO at OnDeck, which was like an accelerator, super popular during COVID. Unfortunately, a little bit too popular. We got like too greedy and like just, you know, did everything at once and then it exploded. And then I have been investing on the side into startups since 2019. And basically after OnDeck, for me was the decision, either I start my own next company or I've doubled down on VC. And every time I do this, I start like iterating and like building prototypes of ideas. And then I find a founder who does the same thing 10 times better. And I'm like, dude, like, can I give you money? You know, and I had this like 3 times in a row. And I was like, maybe I should just like focus on investing, because none of the ideas I did had anything to do with each other. So I anyway like experimenting with different tech, different ideas, different markets. And then B, I also feel, how to explain this? Like, I think I'm a better investor than a founder, because I have ADHD as hell. And I'm very, very good in like doing short sprints in like a random topic, and then a different topic and a different topic and a different topic. And I really struggle staying on one topic for a very long time. You know what I mean? So
and I guess the European dynamism kind of play gives you a lot of latitude in what you can invest in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Dude, like insane. Like every
and
industry
the block
will
is
be
so
automated.
Big.
Yes, every industry will be fully automated, and there's multiple regions in Europe that have like a claim to be number one in a specific industry. Like Netherlands is like surprisingly strong in agritech, you know, because they have so little land that they need to use it efficiently as possible.
It's also all flat.
Fair. It's flat because they made it. Okay. So like you make your own land. Okay. Then you can judge other people's flat land. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is like there's multiple regions that are really good at specific things. And like, for example, in the Nordics, like there's a whole emerging ecosystem out of like the big VR companies, like for example, Varjo and this kind of stuff, you know? So there's a lot of areas where we have surprisingly good tech hubs, you know? And from my point of view, this will be the next 10 years. This will be the most interesting aspect any investor can look at. And I don't envy people who look at yet another SaaS company that hopefully can compete with one company in America. You know, I mean, like to me, this is not exciting.
I like if we are talking about SaaS, I do like the flavor of SaaS that we're getting, that is connecting hardware for experimentation. And so I like it from that perspective. There's some guys over Superseed invested in the Bench. We've had them on the show. They're pretty great. I love Martin. Martin is not a rocket engineer, but his co-founder is, and like built rockets in Africa or something along those lines. I was like, yeah, this is cool. And so like, I like that because it's just going to help the hardware go do the thing it needs to do. 100%.
So for fun fact, the tractor I showed you, one of the founders is hypersonic aerospace engineer.
Get out of here.
So yeah. And the other founder is quantum compute engineering, basically. So basically like
incredible,
this kind of machine learning and this kind of stuff. It's it's crazy what kind of talent there is out there.
And look, Andreas, can I give you your flowers where flowers are due? You've returned money to your investors within the last 2 vintages.
I love this. Is a proper marketing session. I love it.
Of course.
I should chill more. I love this.
Look, it's not often that you get to sit here and go like, okay, so we made some bad bets. No, you've made some great bets. You've returned money to your investors. You're consistently going to do that. And this next play feels like it's a longer type of fund, right? Or is it still it's gonna sit on the same time horizon?
It's so for context, this is my 3rd fund. Technically, legally speaking, it's my 4th fund, but that's like because I split that like an experiment fund.
Right.
And the first fund and the experiment fund are fully returned. The first one is like at 1x with 5x, like 1x return, and then the 5x on paper. And then the experiment fund is now at like 2.5x or something like that. So it's like I usually publicly don't talk that much about me as a VC because I think it's not.
No, you just let us do it for you.
Sure. This is why I pay people like you, no?
We gotta get
send an invoice. Don't send an invoice. I'm way too cheap for this.
We gotta get Prototype Capital as a partner on the show just so I can get access to the portcos.
Yeah, exactly. Damn it. No, but what I'm trying to say is I usually don't like talking about me as a VC and more like about the companies or like the projects I do, because I think VCs talking about how amazing they are as a VC is like as boring as it gets. Like you give people money, like get over yourself. You know what I mean? That's not that exciting. Like that building the things is actually exciting.
Do you know what I mean? I can't wait for, right? In 40 years time, when we're both old and gray, well, when I maybe grow hair and it's gray, I want to sit down with you and we're going to do like 3 hours of just investing talk, like Acquired. It's going to be one of the most, probably one of my best pieces of work that I'll ever do that's pre-recorded.
The moment I have no longer bridges to burn, we do like a call. And like we can go completely off the record. That will be fun. Yeah. And I do the same after I did like this whole policy stint, you know, like I learned enough about politics to realize I will never get into politics, you know. That would be fun. Like tips on that. I want to do that.
Awesome. Andreas, always a pleasure. I'll see you in a month.
Likewise, mate. Thanks so much for having me. And everybody out there, keep watching this show. This needs to be as big as possible.
I appreciate you as always, my friend. See you soon. Ciao.